Welcome to Divine Couples. Your host, NAOMI SLATER, will awaken your passion, deepen your intimacy, and invite healing into your relationships, working towards accessing higher levels of consciousness in all areas of your life. Come with us on this journey to explore and experience your fullest potential.
You are listening to Society Bites Radio, social interaction for the mind and soul. Thanks for joining us. I am your host, NAOMI SLATER, and you have tuned in to Divine Couples, adding intimacy, passion, and healing to your lives. So today we're going to be talking about awakening your power. What does that mean? What does it mean to awaken your power? So it means that you're no longer being held back by unprocessed emotions like shame or feelings of what others are thinking of you, and that you're really fully able to step into your true purpose and feel that your actions are in alignment with your soul. So for me, awakening my power was a very long process, and of course it's really never going to end. It's just constantly experiencing different levels of awakening my power. But for me, it's been really years of practicing yoga, of meditating, and of course, tantric practices that have included deep emotional work. So all of these different practices help us move our emotions and help us first see our emotions, see how they are playing us really in our lives. And a dedicated yogic practice really helps to clear out some of these old emotions, helps to move the energy in our chakras or our energy centers. And of course, there are other spiritual practices that can do this. Tai Chi, Qi Kong, and many others. But for me, this was my spiritual path, and it was what helped me awaken my power. Now, aside from helping us move the energy, it really helps us to maintain a positive outlook on life, which is very, very important in awakening our power in a positive way, which I will get into in just a minute. But before I started doing these practices, I used to be very self-conscious. I was indecisive, and I didn't fully believe in myself and what I was capable of. So I was constantly questioning myself. I had all of these kind of dreams and things that I wanted to accomplish, but I didn't really believe that I had the power and the ability to accomplish those things. So my path was really unclear. I wasn't really sure what direction to go in. Because I didn't believe that I was capable of manifesting my dreams. So I kind of lived my life, having these dreams, but not really being able to manifest them, to make them come true. And this changed for me over the course of many, many years as I began to experiment more with manifesting. So the more you're able to clear out these old emotions, and you're able to channel your power, your life force energy in a more effective way, you are more able to manifest your thoughts, your dreams. And the more that I deepened my spiritual practice, the more I was revealed to myself. So I was able to see deeply who I really was, underneath all of my limiting beliefs about, who I thought I was and what I could do and what I couldn't do. So the more that I deepened my spiritual practice, I really saw the power that I have inside of myself. And really, we all have this power inside of ourselves. The question is whether or not we know how to access it, whether or not we're doing some sort of deep emotional alchemy or spiritual work in order to awaken this power that we have inside of us. So I just happened to be working with a private client, doing one-on-one coaching. And we kind of unearthed that She is really, really avoiding extreme emotions on both ends. So she's avoiding experiencing sadness and loneliness, and she has her own scapegoats, which I won't go into. But she is also avoiding feeling extreme joy and happiness. And when she feels like she's going into one of these extremes, she numbs herself. Okay, it can be through drugs. It can be on the television and kind of zoning out. But she's avoiding experiencing these emotions. And what happens is when you avoid experiencing these emotions, they essentially get trapped in your body. And when you have emotions that are not being expressed and they get trapped in your body, you will not be able to awaken your power. Yeah. So different souls have to go through different evolutionary paths to discover their power. Everybody's different. But once your power is awakened and you're processing emotions, you're going to be able to manifest things much more quickly. You're going to be receiving information. You're going to be downloading information, which is going to be coming down through your intuition. And this can be a very, very powerful process. Now, just to kind of give you an example of what this can be for women, this is actually going to be what I'm going to talk about now is related to menstruation. So when women menstruate, it's actually an amazing opportunity for women to download some very powerful intuitive information for them. And unfortunately, women don't really understand menstruation. They think that they're just, supposed to be in a bad mood, and they get grouchy and bitchy, and their partner doesn't want to be anywhere around them, and on some level that may be the case. But if women understood what they were supposed to do during menstruation, it would be a very, very different, you'd have a very different outcome. So when women menstruate, they're actually very, very intuitive, and they're shedding old emotions. Their body is essentially getting rid of emotions that their body no longer needs to hold on to, and essentially getting ready to create new life, new emotions, new scenarios. And if women were to take the time to, to isolate themselves a bit, to rest, to really, really deeply rest, to not work, to cut out of social media, they would find that they are receiving a lot of intuitive information that could really help them develop their power and awaken their passion in life. So once you start tuning into this, you're able to perceive energy much more easily. You're able to see through people's acts, yeah, and the larger matrix. And in general, you become less fearful. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not going to have fears. Everybody has fears. What it means is that you don't allow your fears to rule your life. So you have fears, you see them, but you're in control of your fears. You are stronger than they are. And then the true meaning of choice is revealed. So we were incarnated on planet Earth to choose. We have a choice. You can choose between using your power for good, or you could choose to use your power for evil. We all have this choice. And when you've awakened your power, this is a choice that you have to make. Now, what does all of this have to do with Tantra and sexuality, you might be asking yourself. Now, your power is stored in your sex center. And through yoga and tantric practices, you can awaken this power, this life force energy. But in many people, their sex centers are blocked because of sexual trauma. Who knows what? Lots of women that I've spoken to have had some sort of sexual trauma in their life, unfortunately. You may also be blocked because of religion, because of the way that you were raised. because of, when your parents told you that your genital area was dirty and that you shouldn't touch it and that you should be ashamed of it. And of course, you develop this kind of guilt surrounding your sexuality when you're growing up. And of course, that leads into the rest of your life. So a lot of people are actually very blocked in their sexual centers, which means that they cannot step into their power fully. Yeah. Now, sexual practices and emotional alchemy can really help to remove these blockages. And it's something that you can definitely practice on your own. There are lots of self-love practices that I teach to help people remove these blockages that they have in their sexual centers. And of course, you can also practice with someone you trust. And I say someone you trust because that's a very important aspect of releasing trauma in your sex center. If you are doing these practices with an acquaintance or someone that isn't really in alignment with your soul, then you could actually be creating more trauma than you had before. You could actually make your situation worse as opposed to clearing up some of these, traumas or stuck emotions that you have in your sex center. So you need to really pick your partners carefully. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be in a lifetime commitment with them. That's, it's not a prerequisite, but you do need to make sure that it's someone that you trust and that you feel is in alignment with your soul. Okay, that's a very important part of this, because you're going to be opening up emotionally and sexually. And you're going to need to process some deep stuff, and you're going to have to own up to your own shit. So that's just what happens when you start clearing out your sex center. And yeah, you're definitely going to be triggered by this. There's really no way around it. This is part of bringing up these trapped emotions and allowing them to flow through you fully. So just to kind of give you a personal example of what this looked like for me and my partner, just one example, there's plenty more. But what came up for us is, what can I do and what can't I do with my partner? Can I show him my full-on sexual energy? Or are there parts of that that really still need to remain hidden? Are there parts of that that I, should still hide? Maybe I feel guilty still. Maybe there are parts of that that I feel like I should still be ashamed of. So what's acceptable? And for us, this was really a process of years, and I'm sure that it's still unfolding. I don't know when, if ever, and it won't ever end. I mean, this is part of the human experience. We're constantly going to be uncovering new emotions that we need to process. But for us, it was really a process of, how much can I show my partner? Will they still love me if they see this side of me? Will they think that I'm, sick and twisted if I show them that side of me? So this is definitely, or at least for us, it was a part of removing the blockages there in our sexual center and opening up to each other in a really, really deep way. Of course, communicating also. Now, stepping into your power also means creating clear boundaries. You don't want to be boundaryless. You need to make sure that you have boundaries that make you feel safe and protected. And when you have clear boundaries, what happens is you're able to surrender yourself fully and open your heart, because you know how to keep yourself safe. So boundaries has been a really, really important life lesson for me, in first understanding where I was boundaryless in my life and where I wasn't creating clear boundaries, and how that was hurting me in a very deep way, and also preventing me from opening myself up fully. So when you have clear boundaries and you're able to communicate them to your partner, to your parents, in your workspace, wherever it may